All right, Shalom. First off, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and elders of Green Millstone. And this is Sid Shalom to the Akim out here that's doing and pushing this work in truth and in sincerity. What I'm going on in this video, that none of the pleasures of the world currently, I should say, can match the things the Lord has in store for his elect. Okay? And it says that thought is reflected in several passages of the scripture, of scripture. It says the idea is that whatever pleasures, rewards, or comforts exist in this present world are temporary and cannot compare to what Yahweh Shah has prepared for those who are faithful. This 1 Corinthians 2:9, it says, but as it is written, eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither have entered into the heart of man the things which Yahweh Shah has prepared for them that love him. If a lot of people knew, what the Lord have in store, okay, and that, they could be of the elect, if, you do these things, these are the things, this is the reward that will come with being of the elect, a lot more people would be willing to do it, okay? But, the Lord has, our people are lost right now, okay? But if they knew the magnitude of, what, we are a part of, these pleasures that, are taking them, or have overtaken them, they wouldn't do it, It says, Romans 8:18, for I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. Right? So here we are on this side, suffering, having to deal with patience, growing in the spirit, staying in the spirit. Okay. And, there's a reward at the end. Okay. Everlasting, never ending reward. Okay. That, all the struggle that we deal with on this side right now, we're not going to have to worry about it. Okay. Anymore. Okay. All the curses will be lifted. It's just Psalm 16:11. It says, thou wilt shew me the path of life. In your presence is fullness of joy. At your right hand there are more pleasures forevermore. There are pleasures forevermore. Okay? This, this path that we're on, living forever, the scriptures talk about the elect is going to be waking up singing in their beds. We talk about, a rest for, our people not having to wake up, to an alarm clock or go punch a clock to go pay bills, go buy food, that isn't healthy, We'll actually know what real food tastes like, what real water tastes like, okay? It says Hebrews 11:25-26, speaking of Moses, choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. And Moses, was pretty high up in that Egyptian, reign, if you want to call it that, and, the Egyptians, they pretty much had it good at that time, but, Moses, he didn't partake in that. Okay. And, when you look at, some people today, they are, I'm talking about Jake. Okay. They could be, in, they could be doing well off in the society. You know, heck, a lot of us, probably would be able to make a couple of extra dollars if, you know, we did certain things. Was content creators, monetizing. And I ain't to say that it ain't brothers that's already doing it, but I'm talking about like on the major level, you know, of you know, letting all this stuff that you know um, we deal with for the Lord, the sacrifices that we made, for the Lord. If that wasn't a requirement, a lot of brothers probably would, be doing very well in this society. Okay, heck, a lot of people, that don't want to come back onto the Lord, with the MOTB, the fact that they lost whatever it is, or they want to keep whatever it is that they got going here, shows that they, found pleasure in a society, and the pleasure of, being able to just go ahead and spend stuff with you swiping, or, having the money there, to be able to, spend. Okay. People, they love it. You got, a couple $1 million in your bank account. You got savings and everything like that. You got land or resources. Some people are actually pretty good, you know. And like I said, you got some brothers who, you know, could be even better. If I'm not even gonna say better, but they could be, in a different position, you know, financially, if they didn't have this truth, you know. But that the thing is, we got something that far greater, far better, you know, than what this world can offer. Okay, it says the contrast throughout Scripture is that the pleasures of this world are fleeting, while the blessings promised by the Lord are lasting and far greater. Okay. None of the pleasures this world offers can compare to what the Lord has reserved for his elect. The joys of this life are temporary, but the glory, the peace, everlasting inheritance promised by the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah are beyond anything the human mind can fully comprehend. Okay? The world's pleasures are for a season. The Lord's rewards are forever. Okay, and only the elect is going to be the first to inherit it, you know. So, I wanted to do this quick video, Lord, one that was edifying. I want to say shalom until next time.